If it's approved tonight, what I do, I go home and then I'll email her, and if there's any special notes, I'll say 110 Blackburn Street is approved, contingent on making sure the square footage is correct.
And then does she get back to you?
If there's a problem, she has, but she hasn't had to do that for
That's cool.
quite a long time.
Okay. Well, I think they're gonna be a huge add to our community.
I do too.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a great building for them to be in too.
It
It
is.
is, because that building was really bad
Yeah.
for these guys, and now they're turning it to them.
Mhm. They planted flowers right away in the back, and so they're
Mhm.
making it look nicer.
So if there's any more discussion,
Did she want to say anything?
So-
no, she's the next.
Oh, she's the next
I
one.
motioned,
Okay.
Yeah, there's a
you-
motion on the floor.
You,
so we need all approve
for
the
number
motion.
one, I thought
For
it was.
one.
You
Yeah,
two.
we're doing A, just.
Yeah, first and second on number A, there's a
Yes.
motion to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay.
But we have to vote.
Right. Any more discussion on 110 Blackburn Street?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Now,
Watson 108.
108.
I had a hard time understanding this one.
Well, they happen to be my accountant, so Dawn is here.
Dawn is here.
She can explain.
Oh, good.
Yes, I'm really sorry, I don't have a better picture,
You can
so,
come right up to the table, whatever you want to do. Yep.
okay.
We understand everybody doesn't have access to stuff like that.
Yeah, so I brought a sample of all the letters, and this is, that's not it, I think she kept that. That's just the dimensions of the area of where I want the name of our business to go.
How
And that'll
wide
be
is,
above the windows, correct?
It'll be up above on the cement bricks.
Yes.
There's an area
yeah,
already
Mhm.
laid out there.
Mhm.
I didn't know all this had to be done, and I took the panels off that said KSF CPA services.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Already, I can put them back on, I didn't.
No,
I didn't
you can
mess them
No.
up.
Yeah,
No, the
They're in
removal
my
is fine.
garage.
Yeah.
Just the putting up the
It's
new.
Yeah, so,
you don't
Hey,
know.
Billy?
okay, so, the.
How
oh,
wide
here it
is that building? Hey, Billy.
The area of the sign is 192 inches.
Across.
And, yep, and then it's 35 inches wide. And then we wanna do, we wanted to say Concola Accounting and then an ampersand, and then Associates LLC, and Associates LLC. So it'll be 3 rows of like wording, but not really all
Instead of-
wording.
Right.
Key real estate.
This is the actual color that we'd like to do in all of his,
Oh, the
Marketing.
binders.
right,
Yeah,
but
color.
it's all got this lime green, and so, and then the letters, they're just a basic, like, font, like not quite,
Kind of Helvetica.
yeah, it's, and I have every single letter here, if you want me to lay them out, I'll
Nope.
lay out the whole sign for you.
That's not necessary.
And then the other part of my request is, that we can paint the maroon, to trim around everywhere on the face of our building is maroon right now, and gray and white. I'm not gonna mess with the gray or white, but I'd like to make the maroon match the lettering. So those are our 2 requests.
Well,
It's just trim, it's not, the basic, most of the building would be the white
The
and the
white,
gray,
yeah.
that's already there.
Is this,
It's-
this isn't it?
No,
No,
that's another,
no.
that's the last
I-
C.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I
This
don't
is
have a
it.
picture
All right,
of
it's
it.
all
That's-
I can't picture where this building is.
it's
One
to the left of Roadhouse, like,
Two
what,
doors
2
down.
doors down.
Yep, it's Roadhouse, the dentist, who has green
Mhm.
writing on
Okay.
there, and then,
Oh, smile.
and then us.
Yes.
And right now it's just blank, white
Okay, yeah.
area.
So these, all of this would actually be in one sign above?
Yes,
Yeah.
in one area that's
I'm getting
192
there,
inches long and 135 inches wide. I believe that's high.
Yeah,
Mhm.
tall.
The only thing I don't know for the fact, that the length doesn't matter, it's the height. And again, that goes to the square footage where Sue Leahy would have to determine.
Okay. It is the exact area of the signage that
Current
was there
sign.
Like that,
before,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's now
So
in
if
my
it's the
garage.
current sign, it would most likely.
Most likely.
Yeah, I
Yes.
would guess that.
Because the other sign was approved. So you're just
Hopefully.
replacing a
I
current
don't
sign.
remember,
Yeah,
but-
I don't, yeah. And do we have any color guidelines in here?
No, we do not regulate colors,
Okay.
We have nothing to say about it,
correct.
so you're cool.
You're fine on the colors, yes.
Yeah.
Well, green is color money, so.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
that's what
right.
counts.
So I just was curious about the trim that you want to do in green. How wide or thick
It's
or?
really very, very thin. There's nothing in here that I can point out. Do you know the baseboards, like in a lot of homes? The
Yeah.
board that goes up, not that wide one, but
The little
the
one.
little wooden trim that they put up to bring the wall together with the carpet.
A
or
building
whatever.
basic.
Like a
Kathy Lee.
court round,
Here.
half round.
Yeah, it's
I think
very
that's it.
narrow.
Is that it right there?
Holy-
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
There you
Okay,
go,
good.
Joe.
Just Mr. Cool.
Told you he's Mr.
It used to be
Picture.
the
Yes.
KFS
So-
or the,
KSF,
Yeah, right.
CPA services.
If it starts to go black, just tap it in case it fades.
Well, that isn't too big. I was worried.
Where the
Right.
Like,
maroon
I thought
is.
that green.
No.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
most of it's gray, it's just there's a little thin
Trim.
trim,
Mhm.
kind of all over the door and the side.
It's down here
Yeah.
and over here.
Yeah, and
Well,
I
as
would,
long as you don't go beyond that, I think it'll be fine, don't you guys?
Mhm. I mean, in the 90s, when we first bought our store, that's what they were promoting, that they called it the signboard
Did it go away?
above your transom windows. That's where they wanted everybody to
Everybody's-
put their signs. Now
Right.
they've projected out, everybody wants to see
Thank
them
you.
out.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So,
Let me see that one, Joe.
I gotta write some stuff down here.
Oh,
I would
What
make
was your name again?
I'm Dawn Tolman.
There you go.
Don't want
I opened the image up, so.
6:30. You're all right, you didn't miss anything.
Yeah, I don't know, do you wanna see
Oh,
the
you
trim?
did?
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it, yeah, I think,
You're so good, Joe.
Yes. And can you spell Tolman?
T like Tom, O-M, like Mary, A-N, like
Oh,
Nancy.
very phonetic. Okay.
Well, I would make a motion that we approve the sign for, don't let me, I just closed my thing, so I
it'll
don't
be
have.
108 Watson.
108 Watson Street.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Pat, second by Billy to approve 108 Watson Street signage. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Here you go.
Can I ask a quick question before I go? So how long do I wait before I can start working on it?
Carry on. Like,
What I'll do tonight is I email this to our building inspector.
Okay.
Then I'm sure she does, you have, yes,
Sue.
that's Sue.
Mhm.
And then she'll either notify, you're going through, which letter company? Or are you doing it
I'm
yourself?
doing it myself.
As
I
soon
made it-
as
I made it all.
we'll notify her, you could give her a call tomorrow
Okay.
and find out if she's in town tomorrow, I don't know her date.
Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays.
Then
I
she will
just-
be tomorrow.
I would just like to get it done before tax season starts because
Okay.
then my time is like.
And when
Right.
it's warm,
So-
probably when it's warm out.
I would recommend just calling her
Thank
and making sure that she got this email that it's approved and,
where did
Okay.
Conco come from?
He is out of Greenville, up by Appleton.
So you're taking a division of his, or you bought him?
Ken Folberg sold, the practice to Mark
Okay.
in 2019. And there was an agreement that we kept the KSF name for 2 years in the contract.
Sure.
And our 2 years is up and I'm ready to move on.
All right, good, congratulations.
Thank you.
We're
Good, thank
excited
you.
you're coming to Ripon.
Thanks.
Mhm.
I can go now?
yes,
Mhm.
okay,
Okay,
fine.
thank you.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
meeting. Thank
Thanks.
you so much.
Okay, 109 West Fond du Lac Street,
This is pretty straightforward, if this is what it's gonna be.
yes. that's, again, it's right above
The transom.
the transoms, and he does have some on the door and a phone number, but that's perfectly fine.
It's pretty clear and clear cut. I make a motion that we accept the sign.
Wait, I haven't found mine yet, hang
Oh.
on 1 second, Steve.
Oh, that's the
It's
key.
the one
This
underneath.
one here, right there.
Okay, so this is the real name?
Right.
That will be the
Key
realtor's
real
name,
estate,
yeah.
right. Lance Poppy.
You might wanna fatten that up a little. Well, the key real estate thing is already on there. We approved that before, right?
We did the sign, yes, the windows, I remember that now, yes. And
So we're
then
just approving
It's
that.
above, yeah.
So did he tell us how tall or anything?
Well,
It's to fit the transom, I would think.
I'm trying to find there we go.
We have to kind of be careful because we noticed some of it doesn't really line up with the guide anymore. So how old is that transom?
All he is saying in the application is business name sign to be installed by Blue Design, that's Adam in
Yeah.
town, on front of building above door.
Well,
But it, I mean,
I
there
think-
is a framed out sign board up there, and that must be where the old one, when it was Marcy's Pet Spa. I think that's what the
Yep.
last business there.
How about we say, if it does not exceed square footage and it confirms to the city ordinance again? I'm just a
We can
little
do that, we can make that part of the motion.
I'll
That- is that-
confirm, I'll amend my motion.
Okay,
Okay. Do I have to put that down, Pat,
What?
that you amended your motion?
Well, you can just write the new motion down and
Yeah,
you want to
that's what
talk
I was
about
gonna
that,
do.
yeah.
okay, so Kathy Lee, your motion is to,
It's my motion. And I added her amendment.
you,
to my
okay, so,
motion.
okay.
So I vote, or I make a motion that we approve this as long as it does not,
I use the wording that Steve
Steve
used.
used, yeah.
Okay,
Does not exceed square footage and it conforms to the city.
okay. Is there a second to
I'll
that
second
then?
it.
Okay. Motion by Pat, second by Joe for 109 West Fond du Lac Street sign. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That woman that was here,
It's-
Dawn, she was
Dawn.
riding a Harley.
You should, she is
Holy
a
cats.
biker, I've seen her on
Oh,
that bike.
really?
She
It
is
was
very
huge.
good.
She looked
Wow.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. I just have a comment on these applications. As much as we tell people to bring in measurements, we still don't.
They
So
don't
we're
get it.
always, I think we're always gonna struggle in some way on, Dawn had the nice measurements, but her graphics or her picture was a little rough,
That's
now.
because she's not using a sign company, so
Correct.
she has no
Right,
professional sign company doing this for her.
yeah. And like this was
Yeah,
nice,
we
because
figured
Adam
that
did that, he put
Right.
it on there, but we don't have measurements.
Right,
So we'll just,
but we don't
Keep
really
moving
need to
forward.
send it back, so.
No,
That
we
would just
don't,
delay
yeah.
things, right?
Okay, number 8, discussion of Little White Schoolhouse. I don't know if anybody saw the paper tonight, but there are plans in the making to move the Little White Schoolhouse. And it'll be moved down to West Fond du Lac Street, the old
Bank.
Marine Credit Union site,
Next to
kind
Beta
of across
Care.
from Ace and Cousin Subs.
Are they tearing the bank down to make room for that? Or
No,
are they gonna
no,
They're
reconfigure?
No,
gonna use
it-
it.
Okay.
Like a welcome center,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
restrooms and that kind of
It's
stuff.
It'll be the, where they sell the souvenirs, maybe a screen with a movie playing on history.
Oh, that's great.
Expand the whole thing, restrooms also, because
Yeah,
there's
they have no
already
restrooms, and they
So
have no
that'll all
bus
be
parking
in the
either.
bank and
Correct.
then the little house will be behind that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
And the reason, they brought it to our attention is it would be it's listed locally designated, so we would have to give permission to move it. And I truly, personally don't think there's gonna be a problem.
The feds already have approved moving
It's
it.
moved
It's
how
been
many-
Yes,
moved-
I
It's
contacted
moved how
the
many
state
times?
already.
Yeah.
The state said it can
Yeah.
be moved.
It's been moved 5 times. This
Yeah.
is its 6th move.
I got pictures of it in the 40s, sitting over by the college. I
Yeah,
think.
there was
Oh,
in
yeah?
2 locations on the college. Plus, they had it flipped one way, then they flipped it the other way.
Yeah,
So,
So where is this gonna sit?
it's gonna sit down, it'll be to the, do you know where the Ford garage is, or
Yeah.
Holman Ford? The next lot over to the west is the old
So it's gonna be
bank.
right on
Bank.
Fond du Lac Street?
Yes, right.
It'll be behind the bank though.
No,
Right.
we don't know the location yet.
Better not
Okay.
be behind the bank.
No,
because you
we're,
couldn't be able to see it.
I
there.
don't know, I mean.
actually,
I
I'm on the
checked.
board of directors for the Little White Schoolhouse, so the location, we kind of have it figured out, but nothing's set in stone yet but it will be to the side, it'll be visible, it won't be tucked in the back or anything like that.
Yeah.
Why are they moving it?
Moving it because we got this opportunity to get that piece of land,
For
which
free.
we can
It was
grow.
donated?
It's
And the
it's a
Boys and-
donation.
Boys and Girls Club,
It has nothing to do with the Boys and Girls Club.
they
We-
definitely wanted to see it
Yeah, I
gone.
have nothing to say about the Boys and Girls Club. We were approached with a donation to move the Little White Schoolhouse, and that's what we're doing. Because we can expand in like a museum, so.
Well, just no restrooms and you can't get bus parking where it is right now.
Why did it come up? There had to be a reason.
We were approached, the Little White
Property owner.
Schoolhouse and Chamber were approached because there was an opportunity to get that piece of land.
So that hinged on the land
Yes,
to the movement.
yes. And
Why-
it does
I don't
open
know,
up,
I mean,
it opens up, like Pat said, parking, a larger restrooms, all that for
An
everybody.
educational center.
And
I was just concerned that we weren't being bullied.
with the
Gotta look
Boys
out
and
for
Girls Club?
that.
No,
No.
absolutely not. We weren't. I mean, it's gonna definitely be in their favor that it's moved. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna deny that.
Yeah.
It definitely will be in their favor. But we have to look at it as it's gonna be a better, in the end, it'll be a better outcome for the Little White Schoolhouse.
Donations to move, to pay for the move too?
Yeah.
There are some, yes.
So the reason it was moved to the location it was moved to is because the hotel burned down in 1949 and we didn't have any tourist attraction. So they opened, all the businessmen in Ripon opened up the Republican House restaurant. And so to get attention to that, they moved the Little White Schoolhouse down that, which bring tourists to the little, and Republican House, and they had a bigger parking lot for buses and that kind of stuff. And for years, bus trips would come in, and I hear this from everybody, that we used to have bus trips come through.
Yes.
And they'd go in there, but if the bus shows up now, there's no restrooms at the,
How did their volunteers live?
yeah,
I
so
mean,
I
Used to
and
have
like
The
bushes?
bank used to do a lot for it with
Right.
the
Yeah.
big
Right,
schoolhouse.
right,
That's
but,
scary.
or the Republican House, people would go there, have drinks, use their restroom or whatever. So I don't think that that's a great location, but as we know, there's no good location downtown anyway. So that will include, accept this expansion. So I just today, there is a state marker in front of that.
Yes.
So I did email Fitzy from the state who's in charge of markers because those markers are owned by entities and I don't know
Right.
who owns that marker. And it needs repair, it's full of lichen and it's chipped.
Oh, okay.
It's looking, it was 64, so
Is
it's
it
looking
a
pretty.
Then
real big
everything
one?
there will
The
go
state marker.
with the move.
Right,
I mean,
so but the
there's
state
bricks
has
and the
to-
state
The state has to
markers.
approve that marker going and it needs to be refurbished because it's looking
Okay.
really bad.
Is
But anyway.
that on a rock or is that on like one of the
It's
wood
on
round
The
wooden?
big marker,
Okay, 'cause
yeah,
I
that's
thought
a state
It's a
thing.
granite one.
Okay.
No, it's
Well, there's a granite one.
Bronze.
No, it's the
or-
bronze, the poured bronze marker, the big
Yeah,
state
then
marker.
But there is
Yeah.
another one, yeah, you're
But
right.
the marker is controlled by the State Historical Society, so I did email Fritzy today, who's in charge of that
Okay.
program. Just,
Fritzy.
yeah, Fitzy, his name is.
Would they maybe want it bigger, better? sign for a new location?
Oh, I hope.
Well, there will
That
be,
thing is giant.
we're gonna reuse what there is at the Little White Schoolhouse, but the old bank sign that's there, we're working with a lady on our board that is into marketing, and she's kinda coming up with some sort of design.
Sue?
No, I can't think of her name right now, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I would propose a motion that we approve the moving of the Little White Schoolhouse.
I can second that again.
Okay.
Is there a limit how many seconds I can do?
No,
No,
you can-
you can bring up first if you want to.
Well,
Okay,
Billy, by the way, do you know Joe?
I do not.
This is Billy Hutton, Joe Walker.
Hi,
I,
Joe. How are you?
I've seen you around town. I didn't know who you were, but yeah.
he's somewhat recognizable.
yeah.
Joe is on the board of the Fairwater Historical Society and the Ripon Historical Society, and his expertise is historic photos. So he's been of great help to Carol Socken, the archivist, and
good.
everybody else coming up with photos we have
I
never
did
seen
I did a
before.
roof on the placard.
Oh, you did the flocker in? Okay.
Well, I helped set it up, straighten it out,
Oh, cool.
yeah,
I wasn't on the board for that, but yeah, I remember
Yeah,
when that
it was-
happened.
that was a while ago.
So Joe's from Fairwater but lives here in Ripon, so
okay, sure.
he has a real historical interest.
Yeah,
Um,
I know all the boys out there, done a lot of stuff for them.
You've done a lot of stuff for everyone,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
Billy.
for sure.
That's interesting that they moved that there, I mean, that was it.
We got very lucky because it was they used it as a garage. It was the parlor wing of an old stagecoach hotel stop right
Oh.
outside of Fairwater on E going the opposite direction, south towards Brandon. There was an old stagecoach inn, and then the family that purchased it in like the 1880s eventually put up a new house, like a Queen Anne style one, around like 1915. They moved the inn behind the house, used it for storage, and eventually
Shed.
they tore it all down
Wow.
except the parlor wing, so they converted that into a garage. And then the property was sold off. Everything was raised except we got the inn off of there before the property was demolished, but. Yeah, so we got what was the parlor wing to this old stagecoach inn behind the Fairwater Historical Society.
And it made it.
Yeah, and it's got the old like gingerbread architecture to it, so we got a lot of the old decorative trim pieces that came off the main
Probably.
Wigan building.
Makes you curious.
Yeah,
It was fun messing
Right.
it up.
Yeah,
Except for the door.
it's a neat
So
little
anyway,
building.
I got off track here
Yeah,
by
sorry.
introducing
No, that's
that,
all right.
I could
sorry.
ramble all night.
But yeah, so you could talk about all kinds of
I
stuff.
will be
but you-
putting that in the note.
Yeah.
yeah.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
So there is a motion by Pat and second by Joe to approve the Little White Schoolhouse move.
Hmm.
All in favor say aye.
I-
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So I will also send that to Sue Leahy.
I just think that's great highway coverage for the people that don't make their way up off onto that street right in
Yes,
front of it.
and that's what we're
currently, so-
thinking. I mean, I forget the number of cars, there's thousands that go past there every day.
Weekenders and highway.
It also reopens the bus traffic
Mhm.
for like senior citizen centers and different bus
Because
tours.
in-
To make it part of the
The
tour.
Little White Schoolhouse is actually owned by the Chamber of Commerce. So that's why this move helps everybody. It helps the chamber can now get bus tours, you know, you can,
Yeah.
I don't know where you would go, you know, like Russell Manor or homes like that.
Yeah.
Right,
You know, retirement homes or villages, you can get.
senior citizen centers.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
And then bring them there and they can see the history of the Republican
it just gives
Party.
more room because that's such a small building that there's only so much information you can put in the building proper. And
Yes.
it allows for expansion.
Yeah, now you get a vault for archives there.
There you go.
Boy, no
Is there
kidding.
room there for addition on that property?
Yes, it goes back quite a ways. I don't know how good that land is to the back. You know, I think it gets a little bit wet and swampy back there.
I was just thinking in
Um,
terms in the future, adding on storage space.
Oh, yes, there
all
is.
that.
There's quite a bit of room.
It's a really great layout.
At least for the, I guess I just, had a gut feeling, it's like, move it again.
Yeah, but for the
Can we
sixth
ever just
time,
quit?
yeah.
Yeah, and it is, in reality,
Well, to be
it's,
spring
That's why the
Better
state
days.
and the national don't
It's
care
going on
because
with
it's
the
already been
picture.
moved so
Correct.
many times,
Yes.
right?
mhm.
That's why the state, that's why the feds don't care if it's moved again, is because it's been moved so many times. It's not in the original spot, nor, it would be where Huberty and Associates
Yes.
is basically, so that it can't go back to the original spot.
John, do you know if they've researched whether or not it's stable enough to move?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It was put on a new foundation, I don't know how many years ago, but there is, and it's probably a good thing that they are moving it. There is a part in there that the floor is really
Oh,
sagging, so
Yeah,
this
Peter did
would
that.
give us a, yes,
Because of us.
they did. It'll give us a chance
Yeah, it is a crawl space underneath it. I've been there.
to get in
Redo
there. Yeah.
You made it in there.
I
Yeah.
think that everybody has done their due diligence on this, because from what I heard is the federals are fine with it. So if the state and the federals are fine, then I'm fine with the move.
yeah, well, Bill
They
is
are,
allowed
I
to ask
contacted them
questions.
right
Right.
away, and
Right.
there's not a problem with it.
Right, right. And the space that that building has is just like a little shoebox square. Plus, I believe the Boys and Girls Clubs eventually wants to take over that whole block. So it'd be nice if there's just room to just do the whole thing, instead of
Okay.
having to deal with that.
Mass
Um,
exodus.
Number 9 is review of design guidelines. We just left that on there
Yeah,
because we're
okay,
still
yeah,
going for
we're
the.
still going for that. I
Mhm.
did submit a letter of intent to the state, the letter of intent was accepted. We now have to fill out, have to get a second, this is to our design guidelines, this is the historic design manual, needs to be done, but I feel none of us have the expertise to redo this manual, Joe.
We feel that.
Right, it really needs a professional, you know.
I was gonna print that off, I'm glad you got a copy of it at least.
You know who'll print it off for you if you let Adam, this came from, right from here on their printer.
Oh,
at
cool.
the city. So if you want a copy, Adam will print it off for you and mail it to you, or you can stop by City Hall and pick it up, because that's what I had him do for me. So there are professional companies that actually do this, and they can attach educational components to it, where we inform the public what's going on, and have, like a, meeting with the public and come in. So I have one quote from one company to do this, now I need to get a second quote, and then we can put in an application for a state grant to pay for that.
Oh, good.
And that's due by December 19th.
Mhm.
So I will get with Adam when I have a second quote, because some of the paperwork he needs to do, because I don't have the information.
Mhm.
And then if we are accepted for the grant, then we can go forward with
So-
the work.
Pat, go back. We're still going forward.
Mhm.
You wrote a letter
And that the
and
state
it
is
was
accepted.
accepted.
So now we have to get one more quote from a company. We have one quote, we need two quotes. And then we have to do the application.
So you sent them the first quote?
All I needed to do was send a letter of intent saying that we intend on applying for a grant.
Okay, so wrote a
After I
letter.
discussed it with them, then I had to send a letter of intent. Now I need two quotes to send in with the grant paperwork by December 19th. So I will work on getting a second quote and then go to Adam to complete the grant paperwork, because it really needs to be done by him as the city administrator.
What's the date again, 18th of?
December 18th.
19th, I
Or
think it
19th,
was,
okay.
yeah, 19th. I've got the date on here, certified local grant application. There's just tons, it's a, state paperwork is crazy. And who knows if we'll even win this, you know what I mean?
Well,
We
we'll
might
just
as well
keep
try
trying.
for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it can go up to $25,000, and this is about a $20,000 project, so heck. But I think it's December 19th.
Okay.
So let's just say you get a grant for that and it's 25 and you only spend 20, do you get like the extra 5 we could apply towards
No,
something
it's a new
else or?
clue.
it's-
You get
No.
only the money that is in the quote from the, whatever the company sends, if they quote 10,000, that's what you put in
Okay.
for. Yeah, you can't add on to it. But
So this is for other historic districts, this is not just for the
This is
downtown?
just for Watson.
So in other words, you're gonna reinvent the wheel?
Well, the issue
No.
is we cannot do design guidelines for the other for the other districts, because they are not covered under ordinance by the city.
Plus, Steve, if you read through this thing,
Yeah.
it is so
I
lame.
did.
It's
It took
lame.
months and months
It
and
needs
months,
to
and
be
Craig
redone.
T-Bon took that from, some of it from another city when he built
Yeah,
this.
It's
So
so
it was
bad.
like, it took a long time to set that up. And
Well,
that's when we had our
we-
sign ordinances and everything else was off of this.
So it's
Just
better
to
to have
let
a
you know.
professional review it.
Just to let you know, we spent about 4 months
Yeah.
going a couple chapters, or whatever those are called, to try to do it like minimally.
Mhm.
But when you change one thing, it's, if you compare
Oh, it
the
snowballs.
city
Yeah.
ordinance, yeah,
And
dude.
we did have Craig involved.
Well, that's
Yeah,
also
he was
involved
there.
in the
So,
beginning.
yes, we're not stepping on his toes.
No,
or
that's not the
anything.
point. The point is as long as you're spending money and you're doing something that's gonna
It will benefit
be a
us. in the end,
benefit
Yes.
Mhm.
instead of just, well, gee, we already
No.
have that.
This is
No.
outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so it's time to redo it.
It's also super confusing
Mhm.
because there's some areas that have explanations and then other areas you're kind of swimming without a safety
right.
jacket.
Well, you gotta understand too. You can tell people how much they can do, but up to a point.
Well, they'll definitely do what they want
Yeah,
if they want
no, I
to.
mean, you can't force people to do certain things, you know,
Sure.
and that's not the intent of this commission either.
Right.
No, but if-
Otherwise, you're gonna have a revolt.
If
We're
we
here to
can write,
educate them.
We just want it to look professional.
And not confusing.
And have links and whatever we
Well, I just
need
brought it up
to
today.
match the modern world,
Yeah.
basically.
and if you can get a state grant and
Well,
the
that's
state's
fine.
giving you money to do it, take advantage
It's even
of it.
better, yes.
Right.
I'll keep that on for next month's
Sure.
agenda. Grants for historic district street signs.
That was in case, we're still not, we gotta table that for another meeting, cause.
We can carry it
forward,
over,
yeah.
yes.
But this was the last thing that I don't find on here is these signs that go on the poles.
Mhm.
So,
You, Pat, you might want to talk to Craig about that because all of that stuff's been designed.
well,
They hired
Adam
a
said,
firm.
well, Adam was sitting here at the last meeting and said, no.
John, don't you remember Craig bringing all that stuff in here and showing it to us? Because I was like freaked out
Is that
that it
just for
all went
Watson
through-
Street
Let me
though?
finish.
Okay.
I was freaked out that everything was that far along and we hadn't
Yes.
seen any of it.
Right, when Craig came in.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes. And that
so-
was for the downtown
Yeah.
Watson Street, yes.
Yeah.
This, I think, Pat, is,
Every district in
yeah,
the
other
city.
Well,
street
okay,
signs
then
in the
in
city.
that case, shouldn't it somehow, I mean, does everybody start their own song? Or should we make sure it all looks nice together?
Well, I haven't seen what he's done,
Well, you
so,
need to.
yeah, so,
So that it doesn't, all you know what I mean?
so is he marking Watson Street in the entire district?
Yes.
It's a
Okay.
big
And I don't know
deal.
how much, because he has limited amount of money also.
Funds.
It's still a big deal.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe some of our budget could be contributing towards that. What I base,
We-
well,
We just don't have that much
Yeah.
yet.
but what I did is on these maps, these are our historic districts within the city of Ripon, okay? And every dot you see in here is a street pole, or a, with a sign pole. And if you go to some other cities like Fond du Lac, they have signs sort of like this hanging off the street poles.
Yeah, on top of the.
Right, and I've
yes.
asked Adam for a cost on these, and he hasn't gotten back to me. And this we can table too, but I
I
want.
don't know why he didn't tell you about all that. That's kind of odd.
Well, I think we're confusing the downtown with the other residential.
Right.
Regardless, it needs to work.
Yes, we need to.
Together.
It
Yes, I
has to
agree
be-
100%, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
what I did is I marked the street poles in all of the districts, okay? And if you see on the front page, it'll tell you how many street poles there are. But we don't need one on every street pole in some districts. So I thought that we could review this. Adam doesn't have a cost to me yet to see what we could afford to do. When you get to like the historic district that Kathy Lee lives in, it's so broad. Most people probably don't even know they're in that district, but if we could mark a few of these street poles on the outside edges and even on the inside,
Where are
people
your
would know.
dots, Pat? I don't
Where's
see
the what?
dots.
There's
Farther
little,
back,
What?
the next page or two.
well, they're dot on all of them, you can see little
Oh, well,
dots.
okay.
Yeah,
I
but
don't see them.
here's where you live.
Yeah,
You see the
Yeah.
lot?
Little
No, we're
dots
out
on
of
the
it.
corners.
This is Watson Street
There's
that
the
you're
dot.
on there.
Okay, so
Those are the poles.
Those are all the
That's
poles.
where the poles are.
that's where you're proposing.
Well, I'm not proposing all of these. I thought this commission, depending upon the cost of the signs, could determine where the signs go.
Is there a way to
Because-
say, you know, this street through whatever street?
You mean like directing people where it is?
They're all put up to signify that they're in,
A historic
yeah.
district, right?
So if it said, you know, let's just say Jackson through Lake Street, pretend, you know.
Yeah, it gets really, you can see how these jaggedy that these are.
Yeah,
So it's hard to mark precisely, and you're just giving people a general idea of where it is.
so would it
So-
be better to do a plaque?
Well, these go on the street signs.
Yeah, in order,
On top of it.
yeah,
Would the street sign,
it'd stay there.
but is it as effective?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
use
see
these in
those,
other
yeah.
cities.
Mhm.
Fond du Lac has them in their historic
Oshkosh,
district,
Oshkosh,
Oshkosh
yeah.
has them. A lot of cities have something like this to designate their historic districts.
So how do they decide what corner is?
Well,
With their boundaries.
they do the same thing
Yeah.
we do, they look and they see where the poles are and then determine, like Soresco Park District, there's 4 poles. Really, for that district, you only need 1, you know?
Right.
The Ripon College District has 1, 2, 3, 4 poles. I mean, so you could really just do 4, you know, there's no
Right.
other needed. But it's these bigger districts, so I don't have a quote from Adam yet, so of course this has to be tabled over.
Sure,
But
we'll carry it over.
I wanted to give this to everybody, so as you are walking around town, as the weather is still good, you could drive around, take a look,
This is
identify where
sketchy.
these are.
Mhm.
You know, see what your thoughts are as far as where we would place any signs,
So
depending
here's the
upon the
question.
cost.
Watertown Street, you have one at 602 and one at 522?
Where
Right,
am I?
like, right here. Watertown, there's one here.
Yep,
And
yep.
then one here.
Yep, that's where the city has the street signs.
So if that's in the same district, do you wanna put 2 up?
Well, that's what we would decide, that's what this commission would decide, I wanna get the cost of the signs.
Yeah.
And then we decide where we wanna put these signs.
Yeah, cause
Right.
it seems
So
like it'd be
that's
more of a
why-
border kind of thing.
Well, and then in the middle too, if you don't see it on the board, you probably want them in the middle. But I just thought I would give you this so you could take a drive around, or if you're out on your walk, you could take this map, take a look, and just get an opinion on what you think, where they should be placed. I just marked every single pole,
Mhm.
and on some of them, you'll see this is a pole that's really outside the district, but it marks the district.
Sure, that
So,
would be the boundary.
the
almost,
boundary
yeah.
of the district, right.
I think it's a good way to just let the people living in there a reminder
know.
that we're in a historic district.
I agree.
Then they might come to us and say, I didn't know that, I want a plaque on my house, or I want to
Or-
locally designate my house.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
It makes sense, though, to have this shape, you know, like per district somewhere too.
Well, it's
The perimeter.
it's where the street signs are.
It's
right?
where the
Yeah.
street signs are.
Yeah, but
I mean,
do you know what I'm saying, or, like as an additional thing to your street signs? Because the signs are terrific, I love it, but they're gonna be confusing.
Well, the only other thing we could do is we could take one of the plaques on our plaque program and do a plaque on each historic district.
And I don't understand
It'd be
that.
confusing for
Yeah.
people. not-
It
I
is
like the
very
idea of
confusing.
street
Way
signs. I
confusing.
Just
think-
the
Yeah, I
street
do too.
signs,
And I'm not,
Them street signs.
I
for
don't
sure.
think we need to be right at the exact corner.
No,
If there's not
no.
a
we
street
don't.
sign at that corner, we don't need to be there.
No.
I think I wanna
No.
look into it a little bit more.
And
Sure.
drive through Fond du Lac and Oshkosh and look
That
at
I've
how
done.
theirs are, you know,
We took-
because
Yeah,
they
and
do
this would
have the
be
street signs.
Something that the city would be upset about, because they were really upset about certain sign ordinances around town. and the size of signs and stuff like that in the past. So this would be non-invasive, I believe.
Correct.
Yes.
And this falls right,
Yeah,
money for this is perfect, it's educational,
Yes.
that's what they give us the money for,
right.
signs.
Oh, that'd be a
It-
smart move.
Yeah, I think it would
But you
work
can
out.
start off slowly and then add.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why I'm
makes-
waiting for the cost
I
of
like
these
that.
signs, what are
Yes,
they
'Cause
gonna
that's gonna make it,
cost?
that's gonna make it slow.
Right,
The
right,
cost.
so maybe we do one district a year
Right,
or
yeah.
whatever, I don't have a cost yet, so I
think the signs sound real
I
good.
just gave this all to Adam, and I gave him, this is the maximum number of signs in each district. And this is sort of just a sketch of sort of what the sign would look like.
Yeah.
And then, from there, we as a commission decide where these go and
That's
what
a
we can
dog
afford to
sign.
do.
Are they
Well,
double-
it's
are they
my
double-sided?
stupid typing, they're
Yeah.
I
double-sided.
think they're double-sided.
And I asked Adam to come up with 2 separate designs and colors, so to have a choice. And so I showed him the Fond du Lac signs and other signs from up online, because you can actually Google this and see what other cities have done for these signs.
The color shows more,
What?
stands out more.
I have no idea, because every city has a different color or look. And this is just me doing this on my computer, and I have no artistic ability, so don't, you know.
Yeah.
It's a sign.
Yeah.
You can-
It's
yeah.
a start.
Gives us the idea.
Gives us an idea.
Yeah, but
Yes,
you gotta
an
watch
idea.
it, because this should not go forward, just to make sure.
But, so I'm waiting for a cost to
Mhm.
come back, a quote on the signs, and then, so we could keep this on the agenda
Yep.
and keep it moving forward, but this might be one of our ways to spend some of our excess money and have that educational component, because then we could write up in the Commonwealth about each district and these signs going up, and why it is designated
Sure.
as a historic district, and what makes it a district, and we have all that all written up. It's up online, anybody can Google those districts through the National Trust for Historic Preservation and find it, or we have it at the Historical Society. But I just Google it from home and pull it
Yeah.
all up, you know, it's really easy. It's all online. So we could direct people to the correct link if they want to read more about the district. So anyway, so I just brought
Thank you.
this in so everybody could see that I sort of did
Only
mark
thing
them.
I'd wanna say, Pat, is don't get so far ahead that we can't, have a little comment about it or somehow participate in it.
Well, there's,
Because
I
if
can't,
Adam is doing all of this stuff, we really need to check in with Craig and things like that.
so I did not know Craig was doing Watson Street, so
Mhm.
I will get with Craig.
Ripon Main Street program is
Is
doing
doing the
signage. And
historic-
it's been a lengthy
Yeah,
process, yeah.
Yeah. So, what,
but just an FYI, they did not tell us anything or ask our opinion about it.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
I guess, John, you don't really think they need to? Is that what I got? Because I really think we should.
I think it was just an oversight. I think, you
Not
know,
with
they had,
Craig's
they had a
not.
couple meetings and it went to, like what Pat is doing, it went out to a company to get prices and that took a month or two. And then all of a sudden, all this came back and then it just flooded them. So I don't think they left us out on purpose.
Regardless,
No,
we
they-
should know.
It's just, then all of a sudden it just
Yeah.
happened quickly, you know?
yeah,
But as far as, I believe they should, you know, by rights, they should contact us.
Yeah.
Well, you'd think you'd want everything uniform.
yeah.
Correct. So we'll,
Well, you'd be a part of it,
Yeah.
even if it was a bit of financial.
Right, but
mhm,
Because they know we have a little money.
right.
Maybe they would want a chunk of that too. Don't know.
Okay, well, I'll keep it on for
Yeah,
next
so-
month's agenda.
Maybe, you know, this is not a project that needs to rush forward, but it's just one that we can think about.
Mhm.
I'm not even saying we're doing it, it's just one way I'm
Right.
suggesting for educational and marketing districts.
I think it's a great idea. But we've
Yeah,
talked
it
about it
is.
years ago and nobody,
And never.
we just couldn't get enough people involved.
no, we didn't have the money for
And
it.
we had no money, yeah.
Adam has volunteered the city to install them at no cost, so we don't have to have a budget for that, which is
Right, that's
nice.
nice, yeah, we don't
Right.
have to worry about
Because
it.
normally you'd have to figure your labor into the,
Somebody would have to,
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
right, so that's nice of Adam to say that the city would just, you know, we don't have
You
to
have to
incur the
go
labor
volunteer,
charges.
You know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Stephen
So-
will do it.
As long as we have an administrator
We
that'll
do.
back us up in the idea, I think that's great.
I was glad he said that.
Yeah, it was really nice of
Okay.
him.
Discussion of preservation awards. Preservationist of the year. I'm gonna defer to Steve. You brought it up.
Okay. Well, what we'd have to do is, I believe that we'd have to put something in the paper for the public to nominate somebody. That way it gives the public opportunity to nominate somebody, obviously. I said that twice. And if nothing happens, then it's the commission's role to find somebody.
Correct.
When did you normally do this? What month did you normally give
Generally
out the
was
awards?
towards the fall.
Yeah, I would say now we were
Yeah,
discussing.
and this was a big thing because it was supposed to be done, the mayor was supposed to hand these out to people, you know, during a city meeting,
Yep.
you know, so it was publicized, and the paper would come and take pictures. And
So
it was
last
explained
time-
for what it was for.
He didn't, one of the winners was Tom, and he didn't want any ceremony, so in the end, Steve took him to breakfast and gave it to him, which was underwhelming. But if we have people who agree,
Well, we've had people in
We've
the
had,
past
I
that had,
remember Nick and Kim Roden, they came in, they live
Oh,
on
sure.
Tiger Street.
no, we had
And
several
they
people
came
that
in
came
to a
in.
that would
city
be
meeting
much
and
nicer.
got it, yeah. It's nice when, and they brought their family even.
Cool.
They had a couple kids.
Yeah.
at the time.
And that's a
So,
big
and then they
deal
take
to
a
get-
picture of it, you know, and it's good, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good publicity for us and also the whole city, you know, because it makes people think, well, maybe I'll fix up my house, you know, or
That was
a
kind of why we
building.
did it,
And,
That was our-
you know,
agenda.
yeah, and like I said, you know, you have to look on the past thing, you know, the past people. I mean, you don't want to award the same thing every year to the same
Right,
people.
Yes,
right.
right,
So,
yeah.
So-
that's something that we'd have to do.
Would you want me to contact the paper
If
or?
you'd like to, yeah,
Well-
because you're the
Well-
chair. That's what I used to do. I was
Yeah,
the chair,
okay.
so I had to do
Yeah.
that.
What
But
about,
And it doesn't have to be a big
Well, I gotta
article,
ask, yeah.
just a small thing, you know?
Yeah.
So do we give out 2 awards as one commercial
Yeah.
and one?
Well, generally what we
house or
did
what?
was, it was for the person and it was for a structure.
Yeah,
So like I said, it was 2 different awards.
and
Okay.
if we can't come up with one or the other.
Yeah, you can
if we
always
get
just
one,
do
it's
one.
important to do
Right.
at least one. if we
Yes,
can do that.
exactly.
We would at least do the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
and that's what we used to do is, it used to be just the preservationist of the year. But then we had people that came to the meetings and said, well, gee, you know, I put a lot of time into my building, you know, and stuff, and they explained stuff, and historically it was correct.
Okay, I want to nominate those people that renovated their, you know, over on Douglas Street, the.
Oh, that service station?
The service station. That looks so nice.
But the only problem with that
They're
is they're
not-
not
They're
in
in
the
the
city.
township.
Township.
Ah, darn it all.
But
But
the
maybe we
building
can
wasn't,
well,
the
yeah,
building was.
the building was in the
Yes,
city.
was
so
moved.
we'll do it anyway.
So we could do
If they
that.
wanna do it.
No, you could do that if
Yeah,
you really
I think we
wanted
can
to.
do it anyway.
I mean,
Yeah.
they did such a
They
beautiful
live,
job.
they live in town.
Yes,
Right, yeah.
well, if they live in town, then we're good.
Yeah, because they're only a block up.
Yeah,
I mean,
They're
they,
in town.
well, then
They
we're,
did-
we're good.
Yeah,
they
we're
did
good.
such a
That's-
beautiful
But we'll put it in
job.
the paper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
People
no, but you
going-
should still have nominations anyway, but that's good. Now we
Yeah.
have one
because
person.
there's one that sticks out to me as being so
Yes.
beautifully done.
Mm-hmm.
And we just want to call attention to the nice job they
and
did
there's all
on
that
it.
crap
Well, that's the
next door,
point.
though.
Is
Yeah.
what?
All that crap next door.
Well, that's not them though,
Yeah,
it's
that's-
next door to
I know,
them.
They can't
He
help
he
it.
Sad.
cleans
Yeah,
what
they
we-
Yeah,
cleaned
that's-
that up quite a bit.
Yeah.
That was 3 times what was there.
Worse, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Just-
really?
It just,
Jeez.
it is what
Yeah,
it
it
was.
looks
So in
better.
the paper, who, do you want people to send their nominees to me so I can keep them together? How do
Generally, what
you
we
do
used to
that?
send it to Karen. You know, and Karen would,
Variance?
yeah, right to the
Okay.
city.
All right.
Karen at City Hall.
And then
Okay.
what would happen is then Karen would give the nominations to us.
Okay,
Karen will be happy.
Well, I know, it's sad to say that, but, you
Right.
know, that's what they did.
That's what we
Because
did.
it went right to
Yeah.
the city then.
right, right, to the city of Ripon.
Yeah, so there wasn't a big confusion about
But
it.
if we-
Good that we have someone that will accept the
Yeah.
nominees.
Yeah.
But if we
Yeah.
don't get any nominations, I think that that would be
Oh,
one
no.
that shouldn't be
We can look at,
overlooked.
if we do, we'll look at them, but that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can nominate too.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what we did in the past.
Right,
in the
right,
past.
So,
right.
like I said, there were people that were on this commission for years and years and years, and some of them got it posthumously, you know, like.
What does that mean?
Well,
After they
Steinberg,
die.
After, yeah,
Well,
Farber.
no, he was alive, but I mean, Dr. The guy, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do, I
From
can't-
the- All of a sudden I had the senior moment again.
Doctor
From the,
Miller?
historic, yeah,
Yeah.
Dr.
George
Miller.
Miller.
George Miller.
Yeah, he passed away and he
Yeah.
didn't, you know, just a month before we passed it out, you know.
He was a driving force to start
But he was a
with.
driving
Oh,
force
yeah,
for
he
this
was
committee.
something.
And
Everything.
Jack was on there. and
Everything, yeah.
Mary
Mary
Grant,
Grant,
you
yeah.
know, she received one. So, I mean, you know, there's other people besides that. And also, well, you know, people that invested time into the city, you know, preservation of years. So, you know, there's a lot of people if we look at
Sure.
the past awards. So,
Okay, items for next agenda.
the cleanup of the
The
Yeah,
barn?
I have that written down.
Stable.
When is that?
I don't know, I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
It was-
I remember it being
Yes.
September the 18th,
It was covered by the minutes.
It's in the minutes.
Yeah,
September the 18th.
Was it the 18th?
It's my birthday, so I
I wasn't
remember.
gonna be there.
It's the only reason I remember.
You're not gonna be
I could be-
there?
Not on the 18th,
That's
I got something going
Sunday.
on.
Oh.
But,
Come on.
If you need an extra hand, I'll volunteer to
But
help.
I-
What are you doing? Like,
well,
throwing
cutting
Need
down the
later,
trees
cutting
and
up
stuff
brush
like
and
that.
do
Machete.
you wanna
Do
post,
you know where the
no,
Haas
Huh?
barn is?
You wanna
If we
post-
can postpone it for a week,
you
that'd be.
wanna do a different, the
Oh, wait a
following
minute, that
week?
would be Septemberfest, right?
Well,
That's
the
that weekend,
17th
17th.
is the-
Yeah, so the week after would be fine with me,
Okay,
Probably be
Well, this
better.
has been set up for a while.
I'll be
yeah.
a year older.
September is
Oh, yeah, that's right.
25th is the next.
Well, no, we have to clean that up, it's
Yeah.
starting to look really
Well, in,
tacky.
in all reality, the
Plus, there's
better,
always
the longer
somebody
we
that
wait, the
can't
better it
be-
is.
And believe it or not, I have a
Checks
key
or-
for that place,
No problem.
because I was the one that locked it up.
yeah.
Oh,
Because
really?
Travis Drake said, well, he came to one of the meetings, or I went to him, and he says, it's your baby, take care of it.
Oh,
So I got the key for it, so.
So are
party
we,
at the barn.
are we gonna push it to the 25th?
That'd be good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that.
what time?
In the morning, usually
Like-
right around
Yeah.
8 or 9,
8
9,
o'clock, 8.
whatever works for you guys.
Sarah had us starting far earlier.
It's not gonna take
Sarah,
her,
yeah, she wanted
There's
to,
No, we don't
way
wanna
in
start
hell I'm
early,
getting up
early,
at
early, you know.
6:30 for this.
Right.
that gets really,
9 o'clock?
yeah, it works.
Okay.
9 o'clock at the
Well, by
bar.
that time, it warms up enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's a little dew around, it'll get a little
Yeah.
bit off. but-
Not to backtrack here, but I see there was talks about getting that place designated on the National Register. Now, would that include signage, like one of the big state, like brown signs?
No, those
or-
state signs are $7,000
Yeah.
plus a sign.
Cause I thought that would really
No.
be nice if we could get some type of signage on that
Because
property.
we can't even get anyone to buy it.
It's a shame
Yeah.
the brewery itself is gone.
Yeah, that whole property is up for grabs with the city to
Okay.
decide what to do with it, so even if that goes on the National Register is questionable now. Would it qualify? The first thing you have to do is get a professional historian to do, like a historic survey. The paperwork was started, you said,
Yeah,
so the paperwork
matter of
was
fact, it
started.
was submitted.
Okay, so we have to call the state and see where it is and what
Yeah,
happened
well-
to it.
Like I said, we did get a response back. If you talk to Dave Gray,
Yeah.
he will tell you about it also.
But at this point, why would we designate it if we don't know what's gonna happen
But
with
it's
it?
a-
We
was-
don't, yeah.
On a side
A
note,
secondary building, that was the reason that they didn't accept it at the time.
Yeah,
But it's such
So
a
the-
unique building that,
over a creek like that, yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of buildings in town that now qualify for the register too, so what do we do? Encourage the people that own them to do it or the city to do it? It's like this historic district. When the historic district was made, the Hamilton's building, which is the old bank, was not old enough to qualify. It now qualifies, so can we have it added in the district?
Okay.
So there's a lot of things like that floating around too that we could look at, and the barn is one, but what's the future of the barn and what's the city doing with it? Do we wanna spend?
Well, that's the problem with it. The city's never wanted it
Right.
ever.
I think we should
Right.
turn it
Yeah, that's
into
what they gave
a
it.
park there or something, open the barn up where you can walk
It's
through it or something.
No, but that might not be possible either, because the DNR, and we can't, you probably can't put any restrooms
Well,
or
once you get
anything
inside,
there,
you'll
right?
see what the situation
Yeah, you'll
is.
see
Yeah.
that, it's back in
But
black.
anyway-
I've never seen the.
To have a professional historian do this, it's at least $3,500. So you're gonna pay $3,500 to put on the register. It doesn't protect it unless we put an ordinance on top of it, and then it can be ripped down.
Yeah.
So
It
you
can be
wasted
tore down
35
No matter what you have on it.
That's right.
I
Right,
Yeah.
don't care what paperwork you want.
so
Well, like I said, Dave DeGray already has this.
started,
It was
Yeah.
done.
Yeah,
It was
it's
submitted, so you can tweak it and send it in again.
Steve, ask him to join, become a member, a
Member of the
commissioner.
commission?
Yeah,
Well, it used to be the mayor here, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't think, he might, I mean, he's in his 80s.
it's
Yeah,
worth a
he's
try.
You know,
But he,
but he's very.
He's sharp.
Sharp,
I know.
yeah.
No,
well, I could ask him.
whether or
Well,
not
yeah.
we should get the paperwork,
Yeah,
because I
we
did
get the
not see it
paperwork.
down at the Historical
Yeah,
Society.
and I know I had
It's
some
not
at
in
one
our
time, but
archives.
like I said, that was a long time ago.
It's been a long-
I could talk to him if you'd like.
Yeah, and if nothing else, it should go in the archives, so it's not lost again.
Yeah, well, like I said, he should have a copy of
It's a
it.
diamond in a rough.
Well, it is.
It's an awful rough.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
it's
you get
rough,
that
but
cleaned
just
up.
mean that
I actually have some paint
Aurora
for it, yeah.
around
So
it between
just
the
to-
city and
Oh,
what
yeah.
anyone else might think it's worth.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just, there isn't a place
I got a
Ever.
quote one time
that
about
straddles a creek.
lifting it up because we wanted to get it a little higher than the creek.
Mhm.
And there was a guy from Berlin that was gonna do it, and he wanted 20,000, and he said he'd do it for 10. But we had $1,000,
Yeah.
you
right.
know, and the thing is, you'd have to do some sort of fundraiser that would do that, but it's hard with
That'd
the
be a
city.
hell of a fundraiser.
It could, it's, the
have
city
to be
owns
an,
it, so.
Yeah, the city owns it.
City owned.
And then somebody was gonna buy it at one time and put it on a TV show. And they backed out because the DNR won't let them put bathrooms in over there.
Mhm. The DNR becomes involved because it's over
Yeah.
at Crick.
Yep,
Yeah, they control it.
Yeah,
The
it's gonna
Amish
be-
wanted to buy it,
They
and
move it.
it died because they wanted to move it.
Mhm.
Just so you know, September 18th was a Sunday.
Mhm.
So September 25th, do you want to still keep it Sunday, or do you want to do it on a Saturday?
doesn't matter what you
It
guys
doesn't
wanna
matter
do.
to me, we could,
But either or, if it rains one day, we do the other.
Yeah, you can have a rain date or
Yeah.
something like that,
Following day or the day before.
but it's gotta get done, it's looking pretty nasty right now. Matter of fact, I was almost ornery enough to go over there and cut it down myself, you know, just get the stuff away
so
from the
would you like to
There's
do?
nothing wrong with that.
September, is the 24th, the
So
Saturday
the
then?
24th, and then the rain date, the
Correct, let's-
25th.
And we can just watch the weather and talk to
Yeah.
Email
each
each
other
other,
and,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, but it's sort of up in the air, you know, and what's more important to put on the register, are there other buildings in town that would qualify too?
It's just a shame that they let the rest of that property go. 'Cause I remember that up when I was a kid.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think-
And there was somebody that wanted to buy that building,
That was.
and he wanted to make an
unfortunate.
antique shop.
What was that in 2000? When did that go down? 2000? Was it after 2005 or was it before?
I
Or?
don't remember, Billy, you
It
got
had
the
to
sign
be
from it, I can't
right
remember when
around,
they took
yeah.
it
I
down.
think it was,
'Cause I think I got my license in 2006. I could have sworn either when I had my license or my temps, I drove by it and I remember just gawking at it. 'Cause I just was like, what is this structure on this back street? Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Well, anyway, there is, the driveway that comes by near the creek, by the bridge, is designated as part of that barn. So, and the back lot line is right there by the back lot line. When you walk out the door, you're actually walking on somebody else's property,
That's
it's pretty
AFK
much.
Foundry now, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
AFK Foundry has.
but
it right
that
there.
was a designated area with the city, we had that, an access to it.
what if they tried to sell that to them once too, the city?
Who?
AFK, if they tried to sell that to them? They
I don't
probably
know.
said no.
Yeah, they probably.
They probably wouldn't
once
be
you
tear
go
it
through
down.
They do with
yeah.
it, right.
Everybody's afraid of it.
AFK?
No, the
Oh, the
barn.
house.
It's
I'm sorry,
more like
Billy.
the GNR, I mean, I think you.
Yeah, well, that's the
The
problem.
DNR regulations with
Yeah,
that over a
it's
stream are
DNR.
gonna be impossible to do anything with that building.
Well, that's probably why
Well-
it's sitting there.
To a point.
But when the flood came, so we ran into trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's why
And the
we
debris
wanted to
made
try
the
to raise it
problem,
up.
and We
you
had
know,
an
a couple
engineer
feet.
go in and look at it and said it was structural sound.
Yeah, at the time, and the only
As
thing the
long
guy
as
was.
as long as we removed the debris. which is
Yeah,
just
and that's
limbs
what we were
trees,
doing.
Stuff like that. And we had
And,
the Boy Scouts
Yeah,
at that time.
yeah, the Boy Scouts came over and they were helping us out,
Yeah.
so, no,
At that time, I thought we were on the right road, but
yeah,
then it went awry.
and it kind of disappeared for a while.
It's just a very odd lot because it's in a weird location and that empty lot in front of it where the building went down and,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's just
Does anybody own that lot? Or
It's
is
the
it
city.
with the
the
house?
city.
It's a
So
city.
they own,
Yeah, they wanted to put up apartments there for a while and then it didn't happen, and
Yeah.
there were a lot of people that wanted to buy it, that little piece of land, and,
There's some contamination going on.
Oh, no.
oh, is that what's
There
going on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you'd have to clean that up, which is not cheap,
why
or to get a grant
it'll
to
never
clean it
go.
up.
Well, anyway, that's where we
Yeah,
are.
okay.
But-
Next meeting date would be October,
I wrote it down, now I forgot.
October the 5th.
It's the
Wednesday.
4th.
Pardon?
4th is a
Oh, it is
Tuesday.
Wednesday, yeah,
Wednesday, yeah.
okay.
6:30, Billy.
Sorry.
Okay, Joe came last night.
Yeah, I was standing in the lobby and I called Pat and I'm like, pretty much like, how do you get in here?
Raw, you're off by a night, Joe. Right.
Just trying to lock you out, sorry.
What's
You
the
can always
secret
go to the
password?
police station.
Yeah.
Oh, I walked
Yeah.
up here too, so
Is there a
then
motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Billy, second by Joe to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
I,
It was a benefit though, like I walked by, my best friend was at Tall Paul's, he comes out, he's like, hey, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing, but I don't got my wallet. And he's like, well, that doesn't matter, so got some
So,
drinks out of
Way to
it.
win.
you said let's adjourn, who seconded?
Joe.
Me.
Joe.
Joel.
Okay.
We're gonna call him Joe Walker the second.
Joe
Yeah.
2 or something.
Yeah,
we gotta come up with
right, right.
Well, actually,
Well,
and-
welcome to the commission.
oh, thanks, yeah, I'm glad to be a part of it.
Exciting.
You know Jerry Sanders?
Yep, yep, you know Bob Schuster, he passed away, but
Yeah, he did.
I was really good friends with him and his wife. After he passed away, I inherited most of his Fairwater belongings.
Oh, good.
So-
I mean, somebody to write stuff.
I
right?
took over his role as curator at the Historical Society there. Just wanted to keep on what he started, because he was one of the founders.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep,
I
Jerry
was
Singh.
impressed with Fairwater being so little yet so conscious of all their belongings and stuff.
Yeah, and Jerry's lucky he's got the water wheel. I just,
I
it's
can't
a-
talk him into saving it, I tried for years to do it.
When I was
He's got the
younger-
money, but he almost wanted to, and then he had a tiff with the board, just
Oh,
over
yeah.
some holiday that was turning into a beer fest, because he's a veteran, so he's like, he put his feet down, he said, we don't need a beer fest for that day. It's intended for something else. And then he backed off from the whole thing.
When I was younger, they had somebody from the state, I think Historical Society, come out, and then I don't know if it was some crane operator or engineer guy, but we had like a little bonfire next to the wheel, and we had squash soup, and I remember they were looking at the wheel, trying to determine how much it would cost to lift it up, and I could have sworn the guy said at the time to get a crane back there to lift that thing up, because it weighs 29 tons, they said it was gonna be $1 million.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
And that was
come
back in
on.
2005, 4 maybe?
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Jerry's got the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he put up his little Sanders Museum, we call it, right next to his red brick barn.
Have you ever been in it?
Yep.
Incredible.
He's got giant paintings that were part of the WPA project when they built the Fairwater Civic Center. They hung these big medieval looking paintings. One's like a blacksmith shop, and
Yeah.
they were going to throw them out. The village didn't want them, so
No,
he
you
took
know who
them.
houses those?
Who's-
The museum in Oshkosh is a housing, because they're owned by the feds.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are, and so the Oshkosh Public Museum is one of our regional hubs to store those WPA
Oh,
paintings.
see, he's got them in a big pole shed.
Yeah,
He wants
since
to-
the government paid to have them painted, the government owns them, and you're not supposed to sell or trade those.
Yeah, see, the village was gonna
Where
throw
is
them in a
that written?
dumpster.
Yeah.
No, it's the truth,
I'm
it's
just
federal
saying,
law.
Where is that written?
And I know this because my nephew's great-grandfather was a WPA artist.
Yeah, we had a water
And the,
wheel that.
and the museum in
went
Oshkosh
from
has
one of the mills.
55 of
It
his
was in the middle of
paintings
the
painted
creek,
for the
behind
WPA.
the,
But then we have paintings that he
library.
painted not for
Oh,
the
really?
WPA.
And when the
that
water
he family,
ran
those
so
can be
fast, and when they
retained,
had
but
that
the
super
WPA
flood,
ones are
it ended
actually
up
owned
in
by the
somebody's
federal
yard.
government.
And
So
they,
Sounds
like-
like something they would do,
Oh.
yeah.
But
Well,
like,
that's what I'm
they
saying.
rolled it away because
but
it
you know,
was
like
heavy.
the city hall in
that'd have been
Monroe
cool to
still
have.
Yeah, I
has
know.
theirs
I watched
hanging
that
up
sort of thing for
decorating
years and
the
nobody
city
knew
hall,
anything.
and they
Next
can
month.
retain it, they